Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is finally out in theaters, and let's talk about it. Sorry, just had to do that. I'm sorry, just had to. Anyways, let's talk about this movie. I will do spoilers. Warn you before I do any spoilers, but for right now, I just want to talk as non-spoiler as possible. But let's talk about something before we talk about the quality of the movie, what worked, what didn't. Let's talk about some negative Nancy's, basically. And what I mean by that is this film premiered at Cannes Film Festival, which is usually a film festival for art house movies. They don't usually premiere big Hollywood movies, but somewhere at Disney they decided it was a good idea to premiere this movie there. It got pretty negative reception, and a lot of people on the internet have been pretty mixed on it. They've been saying it's okay to just straight up bad. And to me, I just want to. That made me cautious going in this movie. Also, something I saw in the trailer did make me cautious about this movie because I want to see how they're going to handle it, what they were going to do with it. But this movie honestly had me very cautious, but also very hyped because I love Indiana Jones. I love Harrison Ford. I had to see this movie when the first showing in MPX, which is like my theater's version of IMAX, basically. I tend to, I'll probably watch this in IMAX maybe at some point if I have the time before I go on vacation. But I love Indiana Jones. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is right here, right next to where I film every day. So that should tell you enough right there. I am just a huge fan, and so it brings me no joy to say that this was an awesome movie. I probably just scared some people from it, but this movie's great, and I feel like we're getting the negative reception for a couple reasons. And the first one should be obvious if you pay attention to politics and Disney movies in general. There are a group of people that want to attack anything Disney related because it's a new political movement that is very dangerous. Which is funny that Indiana Jones is about fighting Nazis, and then literal Nazis are attacking this movie. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there are not. You can look up on YouTube videos of people with Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida's face, and Nazi flags stand outside Disney World. Yeah, so there's a like that. That's not a huge percentage of that. I don't want to just pitch everybody as that, but there are a decent number of people that are attacking it because of that. And then there's also the main thing of like, it's never going to be as good as the old movies. And what I mean by that is those original movies are some of the greatest films ever made. They were made at a time and a place that made them as good as they were. The practical effects, Harrison Ford being young and free. And so that's one reason to attack this movie. That doesn't mean this movie can't be good, but it's never going to live up to those old movies, and expecting it to do that is a little bit silly. That being said, it carrying on the things you like and being a good movie, is still a possibility. And that I think this movie was that. But then there's the other people who just really didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and coming out of the ending of this one, they're not going to like that. They're going to be angry about it, just like they were with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But then there's people who also are going to defend it. People are going to be mixed on this movie. There's just a lot of reasons why this movie is having a certain kind of reception to it, even though the movie's really good. And I didn't, now, even though I'm saying it's really good, it's not flawless. I think this movie did a lot to further Indiana Jones's character. You start this point in this movie where he's thinking about retiring. He's grumpy. He's angry, but then you start to peel back the layers of this character and actually giving him an arc, which those original Indiana Jones movies didn't really do until the third movie, where you had that conflict with his dad and things like that. But this one gives Indiana Jones one of the best character arcs he's ever had. And that's something I really appreciate about this movie. It gives him a good send-off. But also leaves that door open that if they decide to do more, they could. They shouldn't, if you ask me, just because the ending of this movie. We'll talk about that towards the end of this video. Again, I'm kind of downs around the ending, but you'll understand. I think that the James Mangold's direction is fantastic. His cinematography is great. Every action scene was beautifully shot and well done. And while a lot of it is CGI, a lot of it is all these things, they do a good job of making it feel practical enough, or in some scenes it actually was practical, that it does feel in line with those other movies. And yeah, Harrison Ford was DH'd in this movie. You see in the trailer. That's a great sequence. That was a great opener to this movie and actually added a lot of layers to this movie. A lot of the returning characters added a lot of motion. I'm not going to say much more than that, but there were some returning characters that definitely add a lot of motion to this movie, made it just a really solid movie. John Williams' score, incredible. I think I already said that, but yeah, just really, really good. All right, spoiler talk now. Click off now if you don't want spoilers for this movie. It's time travel, and yeah, I think some people are going to be really upset about that, but look, I'm not completely sold on it either, especially with the way the ending goes, with them like actually going and seeing the dude and going back to these Roman times, all this stuff. I'm like, all right, whoa. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's weird, but there's also a part of me that doesn't really care because we've had so many weird phenomenons in the Indiana Jones universe. Aliens, if you've read some of the books, they get even weirder than some of that. And so for me, it worked fine enough for me, and it gave me, and I liked the story that they were going with in lead up to that time travel. First of all, I really like what they were doing with Mads Mikkelsen's character. I wish they'd done a little bit more with him. His character was a character who he was talking when he was giving the speech about how he saw all of Hitler's mistakes and how he wanted to go back in time and fix them, and stop them from happening. I wish they'd actually shown like maybe a scene of him like being undermined by Hitler or something, and like him, saying this isn't gonna work, but Hitler just ignored him. That would have been really cool. But as it stands, I like that character and what they were doing with that. Then, Indiana Jones having a lot of mistakes in his life. When they revealed that his son died in combat, obviously we're going to have Shia LaBeouf again. There's a lot of reasons behind the scenes stuff if you don't know. But yeah, that story was beautiful. And when Maid Marian and him avoiding Maid Marian the whole time in this movie, and then finally at the end, you get that beautiful reunion as the movie just fades out with this hat. It was just beautiful. And I think a lot of that is why I really enjoyed this movie. This is just a solid Indiana Jones adventure. Yes, it's not as good as those original three. But that doesn't mean it's bad. That doesn't mean it's not good. It's a really solid movie that, I honestly can't wait to watch again. And that's the way I felt after watching the originals for the first time. I'm like, I can't wait to watch these again. And I've rewatched them many, many times. I'll rewatch this one many, many times. I didn't feel that way about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, even though I have seen that movie a few times. That's the way this movie made me feel. I think some people are going to be divisive on it. I definitely, after I left the theater, I heard some people who were in that theater with me come outside. And they were just not happy with that ending. They were frustrated by things. And maybe and I think what that might happen with that is you're going to see a really good opening weekend, especially since it's 4th of July week. But next week there's going to be a big drop because there's going to be so many people divided that some people just aren't going to want to go catch this in theaters. They're going to try to catch it on Disney Plus or something just because of that. And I think that's unfortunate because this is a great movie. As always, you should judge for yourself. But I thought this was as good as this movie could have been. Maybe there was a little bit minor things I would have tweaked. I guess another complaint I forgot to mention real quick before I send off. I didn't really like the goddaughter so much until towards the end. I thought she was really solid in the movie, but my main problem with her is she's only concerned about money and all these things throughout the whole movie. I'm like, okay, but like she didn't really have a lot underneath, and then you get to the end and you understand things a little bit more. I wish they'd made more of her humanity and other things a lot more clear earlier in the movie. The acting was all really good from everybody in the movie, so it's not like the performance was the problem. It was really just the way she was written, and kind of just being a little too generic for this type of movie, but I still really enjoyed her character. So, there you go. So, yeah, I give this movie about an 8 out of 10. Go watch it. It was great.